Hey Switch 2 fans, welcome back as your old buddy Blaze, and Switch 2's HD Rumble is seemingly capable, after all, of some impressive sound output. Good vibrations. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Switch 2, the new Rumble in the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. Can you hear the rumble? Because we did see reports that the new rumble was quieter in the new Switch 2, and some people were concerned whether that was going to impact some games like 1-2 Switch, where there's a little mini game that says, you know, that's all about finding the Joy-Con. Somebody hides the Joy-Con, and the Joy-Con vibrates and makes a little bit of noise and a little bit of buzzing, and you're basically supposed to go find it. And that is a pretty cool mini game, and people were worried that you can't do that. Well, turns out you might be able to. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Blaze 2K. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon if you want Switch 2 news, content, gaming content, tech content on your homepage multiple times a day. We cover Switch 2 multiple times a day. And also check the links in the description for links to the best Switch 2 micro SD cards we can get right now, Switch 2 accessories, as well as a link to our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week Nintendo Switch 2 stock tracking stream. Really great community, always talking about Nintendo Switch 2. It's got a stock alarm for you if you want to keep the stream up in the background and wait for an alarm for a restock at all the major retailers. And yeah, all the latest news on the right hand side, as well as a countdown to the Switch 2 release. Let's get into the news. So if you've ever lost one of your Switch 1 Joy-Cons, there's every chance that you will have seen the search for controllers feature in action. The menu in the controller setting lets you select any paired controller that you know is in the room somewhere and make it vibrate. So you can track it down in the pocket, down the back of the sofa, or accidentally left in the fridge when you go up to grab a mid-game snack. This happens to me more than I care to admit. Switch 2 boasts a similar feature, but with the introduction of HD Rumble 2, it makes the controllers even easier to track down. That's because the new Joy-Con can now output sound at a pretty impressive volume, all through the magic of vibrations, which is surprising because we just did a video like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, talking about how they'd reduced the volume of their vibrations. So what's going on? So as showcased in a recent post on the Nintendo Today app and shared to Blue Sky by Stealth 4K, Switch 2 has a search for controllers feature to locate Joy-Con 2 controllers, and the controller you're looking for will vibrate to make a sound. And here's the video. All right, let's get this on. Search for controllers. Yes, is that beeping coming from the Switch 2 Joy-Con? Why is the video so small? Damn, Blue Sky. There we go. I'll put it back on. It's bigger now. So here we go. So is that beeping coming from the actual controller? I hear the vibrations. Interesting. Okay, so there we go. You should be able to find your Switch 2 Joy-Cons. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that's good. Oh wow, it is actually capable of emitting loud enough beeps and boops that no controller will stay hidden for long. That's interesting. So the Switch 2 Joy-Cons have a beeping feature, so you can find it. I can see them using that in games as well. That's kind of interesting. Heck, the sound output highlighted in the video is so loud that it almost sounds like the Joy-Con 2s are fitted with a tiny speaker. We're sure Nintendo would have mentioned such an addition if a speaker had been added to the new controllers. Did someone say bonus welcome tour level? So we're pretty confident that that's what we're hearing, is a rather impressive display of HD Rumble 2's capabilities instead. Switch 2 has a search for controller. Yep, we saw the video. Of course, this isn't the first time that we've seen HD Rumble used for musical purposes. If you recall some of the more theatrical stages of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you might remember Joy-Con would sing along as you stepped on musical notes, producing a tiny scale as you walked. I love Nintendo for their creativity with this stuff, man. God, I love this. I'm going to love the Switch 2. But yeah, it was never anything quite this loud. A message on the Nintendo website previously informed us that the new HD Rumble won't be as loud as it was on the Switch 1, but that seemingly doesn't apply to tracking down any Joy-Con that have gone walkabout. And if they're theoretically going to be trying to use the new HD Rumble for sound specifically, so I'm guessing like when you're feeling the rumble in the games, you know, on the regular games and stuff like that, it's not going to be obnoxiously loud. But if they want it to be loud, they will make it loud. So that's kind of cool. It still has the capability of being loud. All this might differ in the real world, where the wonders of video editing can't make the environment completely silent and the HD Rumble 2 completely clear, but it certainly seems to be a step up. Sound output aside, the HD Rumble 2, Joy-Con 2's HD Rumble is one of the features we were most impressed with when we went hands-on with the Switch 2 last month. Might not have quite the same shock value as it did when we first sampled it on Switch 1, but we're picking up good vibrations nonetheless. Let's see what people have to say. So, That's pretty cool. I wish more game devs took advantage of HD Rumble, but it'll probably be largely forgotten and underused again, except for obviously the exception of first-party titles. Hank Scorpio says, you know, any bonus welcome tour level would be paid DLC. I hope not. Nintendo, stop it. I'm sure Nintendo Life has received their review copy of the Switch 2 and they're trying it out, all the bells and whistles of the controllers. This bodes well for the fidelity and realism of the Rumble itself. It must be remarkably versatile. If it can do extremely low frequencies, high frequencies, and everything in between, I'm afraid we now need the smash character smash phrases to come back when you select one, only now with vibrations. Awesome. Was already impressed by HD Rumble on Switch 1 when used properly. If you played Jamboree, for example, you know what I'm talking about. Can't wait to see how its improved version on the Switch 2 will be in practice. By the way, and funnily enough, how it works internally is exactly one of the things we've already been shown off on the welcome tour. Epic. I love little technical details like those that make our gaming experience special. And again, talking about this, that little beeping noise, surely that beeping actually is a speaker. It doesn't really sound like a sound Rumble could produce. Could be very wrong though. If there were speakers in the Joy-Con, surely they'd highlight it as a feature and have some in-game use for them. Just like we have on obviously a lot of the controllers, like the DualSense controller and a lot of controllers. Well, the DualSense controller especially has a speaker on it, does it? Or is it a microphone? I think it has a speaker. Do you have a speaker? I think it does. Look, DualSense has a speaker. So if the new HD Rumble or the new Joy-Cons for the Switch 2 have a speaker in, why wouldn't they advertise that? That's pretty cool. Unless it's just like some generic little beepy speaker thing that only makes beeps and nothing else. Who knows? But it seems like a little bit of a... Seems like it's a bit of a stretch for them to add something that does that just for the purposes of finding your Joy-Con. I don't know. You'd think losing your Joy-Con would actually benefit them because you'd have to go and buy another Joy-Con, and Nintendo would love that, wouldn't they? Extra money. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you think about the new Rumble. I think that looks awesome. That was a lovely demonstration that we saw. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon. We cover Switch 2 multiple times a day on the channel. I'm Blaze2K. Check the links as well for our stock tracking stream, 24 hours a day. It's a cool place to hang out, talk about Switch 2, and check out the best accessories and everything down there as well. As well as the link to the micro SD cards for the Switch 2. Anyways, I will see you in another video. I'll see you when I see you. Have a great day. You better have a good day, all right? And let's get hyped up. We've only got, days away. We're days away from the Switch 2 release. It's going to be awesome. Peace out. I'm Blaze2K.
Let's go.